The following podcast has been rated Listener MA. It contains strong language, violence, adult situations, nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back again to the Laughing on the Sidelines podcast. I'm your host. My name is Scotty Jeremy, and as usual, we have a good friend on the show. We have the 1984 Kingman County T-Ball Defensive Player of the Year award winner, Mr. Jeremy Joseph.
That's enough small talk, Scotty. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's right. And we have another guest, a guest back for the third time, good friend of the show, the Vice President and Assistant General Manager of the Wichita Wind Surge, Mr. Bob Moulette.
Hey,
He had one stipulation.
What was that?
To be here.
What?
Derek can't be there.
Derek can't be here.
I refuse to talk to that a-hole.
Yeah.
Not doing it. He cannot be there when I'm there.
I'm no longer a ghost when I'm at your house.
Right. Mm-hmm. We have not told him, by the way. We kept it on the DL. He has no idea that you're doing this show tonight. But anyway.
Nice.
But yeah, man. Welcome in.
He's on assignment.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome in.
Yes.
We've obviously been kind of let down with the baseball season not being able to start.
Yeah,
so...
have you heard about this COVID-19?
Yeah.
Are you aware of what's going on? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I showed up for opening day. I couldn't even get in the stadium.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that packed or if just they weren't letting people in. I don't know.
Maybe you just didn't get the email or watch TV or maybe you were...
Yeah, didn't get blown up on Facebook enough or something
What is
like
this email
that
I keep hearing about?
It's an electronic mail.
Does that come through the post office then, or?
No, it's not. But this is a really, really crazy time. But before we jump into all of that stuff, generally we like to kick off the show with a little bit of a week recap, which we normally start off with Jeremy. Jeremy, how was your week?
All right.
Yeah, how'd it go?
Pretty good. I bought a shed.
You bought a shed?
Nice.
I did. It's one of those, just vinyl ones. It's okay. I bought one that was like for rakes and shovels and stuff.
Yeah.
But this one, apparently the one I picked out online was way bigger than what I predicted. It's like double the size I thought it was. It's not big enough for like one that you could pull a riding mower in, but it's like half that.
Okay.
depth.
Okay.
So you didn't care to check the dimensions in the description of it? Or?
I thought I had clicked on a different one, or and the pictures all look the same. They're all the same size.
They just use the same picture. They just doing all the different dimensions.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. And the thing about these things are they're just big open spaces.
Yeah.
Inside, there's no shelving or anything, and you can buy the accessories for it, but they really bend you over with that, and they hold 50 pounds or whatever, and that's just not going to do it for me. I like to climb around,
Yeah.
I won't fit on that. I'm like a cat, you know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had to build some shelves. I lined basically built a 2x4 frame then that I could, inside of it, that I could build
Nice.
shelves and stuff on. And so I did that. I watched some television.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
That's all you can. That's all you can do now.
Yeah. Let's see. I watched one of my favorite not old, but baseball movies, The Scout.
I haven't seen The Scout.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I just pulled that up on the internet today because I was looking at a list of movies for potential things, and
Okay.
It's great. Albert Brooks plays a baseball scout for the Yankees who keeps finding these 5-star players, but they're all head cases.
Oh.
And so they send him down to Mexico to scout, and he finds Brendan Fraser, who may be the greatest baseball player of all time, but he's a head case. He's a pitcher that throws like 112 miles an hour and basically knocks everything out of the park.
Nice.
But yeah, he's had a real rough childhood and can't take it, and so it's about their exploits, but it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hokey, but good.
Yeah.
And then I found a new YouTube channel that I can't stop watching called Urbex.
What the hell is that?
Urban Explorers. I think they're, sometimes they speak English, sometimes I think it's like some kind of a Slavic language. I'm not sure they're foreign, but they go to these abandoned places.
Okay.
Sneak into them a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
And they snuck into an abandoned hangar on the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
Yeah.
And found the Soviet version of the space shuttles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, and that's still a used Russian Air Force base today.
I'll be damned.
So, I mean, they really had to sneak by security. But one thing I know that would interest you, they went into Belarus, it's a different part of the exclusion zone.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Chernobyl exclusion zone.
Oh, yeah,
Now,
babe.
they had security escorting them
I'm
there
sure.
I mean, that's just their own safety.
Yeah, you can't.
But yeah, they get into these places and these abandoned places that nobody took the time to empty out or nothing. Mm-hmm. So they're like frozen in time.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool, and I cannot stop watching. And they go to every country and
Did you ever get
find
into
everything.
Chernobyl, Bob?
Did I what?
Did you ever watch the TV show on HBO, Chernobyl, when it came out?
I don't believe so.
Oh God! If you get a chance, it's just addictive.
it is.
It's
I found out there's a lot of medical inaccuracies in that.
There are. There's a lot of interesting true stuff that happened in that show
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But
then I watched another documentary, which I won't talk about now. We'll get into
Yeah, we'll get that
later.
into a little bit. And before we get on to your side, Bob,
Yeah.
my week was boring. I stayed at home. I played video games and watched movies with my wife. That was about I tried to mow the yard. My lawnmower's broken.
Yeah, here's a thing with Scotty. I have mowed my lawn 7-8 times this year.
Yeah.
Scotty's lawn as of last week, anyway, I didn't really check when I walked in, but still brown.
It is. Hey man.
So why did you try to mow?
Well, because you kind of have to keep it somewhat looking okay.
It's not growing.
I know.
No, you don't.
If you need any feedback on that, I'll talk to Justin. He's our head.
There you go.
groundskeeper. He'll probably
There you
let
go.
you know. I mean, he might take a small fee. For
I'm sure
it,
he
you
will.
know, but
It's like
Absolutely.
saying your sex doll needs a haircut. No, it doesn't. It's been 3 weeks.
But-
grown out.
But anyways, the main reason why we're having this show is because of our guests. We talked to you now twice. We've had
Yeah.
you on the show twice.
Yeah.
You
Well,
become
and
a
it's
great.
Tuesday.
Yeah, that too.
We would have it whether he was here or not.
Yeah.
True.
You're not important, Bob. That's what I'm trying to say.
I told you I'm the fill-in today.
That's right.
But long story short, how have you been through all of this? This
Yeah.
has been an absolute mess. You're at home majority of the time, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Scale of 1 to 20,000. What's your frustration level right now, Bob?
Well, you know what? We'll start on the personal side. I'll let you know about my past week.
There you go. How about that?
So my past week, let's see. I started to domesticate a little bit with my fiance.
Yeah.
So about a week and a couple days ago, we adopted 2 kittens.
There you go.
So I've never had cats in my entire life.
Yeah.
I would not call myself a cat guy.
Right.
You should watch the musical Cats. That's a good instructional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we have those 2, little ones running around.
Right.
Obviously, for me, it's a big adjustment because, my fiance, who would normally be at work at school, as I was telling Jeremy earlier, she usually gets to school earlier than I get to work, but then she gets home earlier and then I get home later. So we have that big gap where we're not really face to face. But now we're working 2-3 feet away from one another. A lot of video conferencing, so just kind of juggling that.
Yeah.
Another thing we did too was we went house shopping.
Yeah.
You can actually go house shopping, believe it or not. We social distanced from the realtor and we walked in and did all our stuff. And then shows that I'm watching. I mean, I watched The Last Dance.
Yeah, baby.
So I thought that was great. And then when you talk about HBO, I had to catch myself up on Silicon Valley. I love Silicon
wow.
Oh, yeah.
Valley.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley is pretty good. I was a little thrown off by the finale, so to speak.
Yeah,
of it.
it goes off the rails.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that was the finale because I wasn't checking the episodes and everything like that. And I was like, wait a second, is this just one of those episodes where they peer to the future, to the past and all that?
Yeah.
But still, it's pretty funny, just kind of being in the tech world briefly that I was and seeing how the startup culture works. It's just hilarious.
And see, I don't know anything about tech, but they make it more comedy than...
Yeah.
You don't need to understand tech to follow the show. It's very good. Very well written.
For what it's worth, we're keeping the show PG-13, just so we don't absolutely tarnish Bob's image.
Why? Nobody cares about Bob.
No, they don't. What about Bob?
Yeah, exactly.
But
anyways, sorry.
So then just, going on to, the professional side of things, obviously it's frustrating. We want to have opening day, on the 14th. And I think It wasn't just in terms of having opening day on the 14th because that's when opening day was. I think it was to let people know we were actually ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I believe every seat was sold, wasn't it?
yeah, we sold
Yeah,
out in
so-
45 minutes. But as far as the building structure, everything like that, everything that needed to happen for opening day, we would have been ready.
Yeah.
So it gives those slight naysayers, oh, well, they're going to use this time. And actually, we can't use the extra time because there's a construction schedule and budget.
Right.
And they don't get extra days because then that will go over budget. So they still had to essentially finish everything on the timeline
Right.
parameters before this whole thing went down. So definitely disappointing, but, you know, at the same time, you know, we want to make sure that, you know, everyone in the city, they're safe. They're
Yeah.
staying at home. There's no place like home.
That's right.
And that's
Those T-shirts are freaking legit.
yeah, they came out well. I would say when we're done selling them on Friday, we'll probably get close to donating $30,000.
That's insane. Where can you get these shirts?
So you can just go to, windsurge.com/shop. There's a COVID-19 Wichita Community Foundation tab. Go to that. It's a $24 t-shirt. $20 goes back to, the Wichita Community Foundation and things like that.
That's
so,
awesome.
But yeah,
That's really
I mean,
cool.
Yeah, there's just so much that you can do. We're ready to go, and depending if they said play tomorrow, we could play tomorrow.
Yeah.
If they say play mid-May, whenever it is. So that's all it is. It's just a waiting game. I think for me, the reason why it's very unique, and I was actually just with Tim Grubbs, doing our podcast. And the unique part for me is this is the second opening day in my career that I've missed.
Really?
Not working a game because I wasn't there in New Orleans
Oh,
in
yeah.
2019 during the transition.
Right.
So I haven't seen a baseball game a lot longer than a lot of other people on our staff because they finished the 2019
Right.
season.
I
So
didn't even think about that.
I'm just kind of itching to get back into that daily grind of
Yeah.
working the, however many games we work. So
Right. And I guess that would be my first question was, do you think that with everything, I mean, we don't know, but
Sure.
if you were to be a betting person, do you think we'll end up having baseball this year?
I'm not a betting person,
Okay.
so I'd
Hypothetically, Bob.
Hypothetically, it just honestly really depends on what happens with Major League Baseball.
Right.
You talk about the NBA, you talk about the NFL. They only have 32 cities that they have to make sure clear the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3
Right.
that the U.S. government's doing. Major League Baseball has 190.
Right.
So, you have to take the single A team into consideration, right? And you got to take this, and there's a lot more moving pieces in that.
Correct.
They're saying, that they would be ready, July, and I think we talked about before, there's a plan. We've heard a million plans
Yeah,
on
there's
it,
a bunch of plans that are coming out.
but we're really just, hey, we're taking the lead from them because if we roll or if they roll, we're rolling.
Yeah.
And that's just all that you can do from now. I mean,
Right.
Look, I think everyone wants Major League Baseball to start up.
People
in
that
any good-
hate sports want baseball to start.
Exactly.
I mean seriously, there are people that are not baseball fans, sports fans at all, and they're just like, I did not realize how much I actually
Sure.
paid attention.
Yeah,
And there's nothing.
Well, and I think the thing is when people get caught up in baseball, especially the leisurely fans,
Yeah.
they don't realize it's a different type of game, right?
Right.
Like when you go to it. Like you go, it's a 3-hour game. You're going to pay attention. Some of the avid fans are going to look at every pitch, just like in any sport. But
Right.
then most people, they're the leisurely fans. They're the ones having a beer, talking, just hanging out,
Getting
walking
hit by
around.
foul balls.
Yeah,
we got the
watching their
we got the
phone.
netting all the way around now. So, but I think that's why it is America's pastime because you literally can pass time going to this game.
And something that I've been thinking about is, throughout history, you talk about all these movies about true stories of these great stories. Typically, these great stories in sports always arise whenever the country is beat up. Whenever there's something bad going on, there's something in sports that comes along and lifts people's spirits.
Oh, yeah.
And that can't happen right now.
Right.
The country is beat to hell right now, and we don't have that.
Yeah.
That outlet to go to. You look at the Great Depression with James J. Braddock.
Yeah. James J.
And
Braddock was a good story.
Seabiscuit was during that time.
This is not a political show, but one of my
no.
favorite movies, one of my favorite moments of all time And I'm not a big fan of the guy, but when George W. Bush threw out the first pitch of the game
Yes.
after the
Perfect strike.
9/11, and it was a perfect strike, and that was actually a good 30 for 30, by the way.
Yeah.
It was an excellent 30. They don't talk politics, but watch that whole thing. It's very awesome.
The Miracle on Ice
Miracle
went
on
down
Ice,
when the
same
country
thing,
was
yeah.
in a real rough time.
Yeah.
And we just don't have that right now, and it's such a strange time to be.
Absolutely. And you nailed it right on the head, man. There's not that.
Damn right I did. I'm the best. I'm a real journalist.
The most uplifting thing about this whole time is watching The Last Dance, because that's the new sports like kind of documentary series about something that happened 22 years ago.
And it's going back to, like, you're talking about Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
And so to me, going through that documentary, you can kind of skew them anyway. That solidifies to me when he had to go through the Pistons and he's literally getting beat up every day.
Yeah.
I don't see any players these days doing that.
No.
And so I just literally, after maybe Kobe Bryant, but not even, like after that I said, all right, the talk is over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just to go through that.
What really makes, in my opinion, what makes him better is that he didn't have a different team to work with. They didn't get rid of the dead weight and bring in a bunch of people.
Sure.
Michael, the difference when we're talking Michael versus LeBron is when they weren't winning, Michael went to his teammates and he rode their ass, but he said, you got to be better.
Yeah.
He didn't go to management and say, I need new teammates.
Yeah, exactly. So and I agree with you. I've been saying that since day one.
And he made everybody better on that team.
I agree.
And him scoring 30 points a night, he did that because that was their best way to win.
Yeah.
But if they'd have said to him, look, we need you to get 20 assists a night, he would have shut down on the shooting.
Yeah.
And he would have done whatever it took to win.
Yeah.
LeBron wants it all about him, and then the championships come after.
Well, I find fascinating too when he's under Doug Collins and then Phil Collins gets fired and Phil Jackson comes in. At first, he didn't want Phil because he literally said he's going to take the ball out of my hands.
Right.
It takes a big person, especially who was the superstar of the NBA or the upcoming superstar at that time, to realize that he has to get everyone else involved, right?
Yes.
Because he had everything going his way. No one, I'm just going to say it, no one in this generation, in this sport for the most part, I think, especially in the NBA, would be willing to do that.
I agree.
And I just think that's crazy.
I was a little upset that they kind of bashed on Tex Winter a little bit.
Yeah.
He's the inventor of the triangle offense.
Yeah.
He made his bones one of the best coaches in K-State history. And took him to a national championship game. And they lost, but we're still ranked number one. Only time that's ever happened in history, because it was such a fluke that they lost. But no, I thought that was cool that they at least mentioned him. But it was more what a pain in the ass he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, really, there's not a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
Sports wise. And so what can you tell us about the ballpark that maybe, I mean, you can see the videos on Facebook, right?
How many bases?
I think there's 4.
You going 4?
Actually, there's 12. We just
You gotta,
we have extras.
Okay.
Stuff,
All right. Fair enough.
But like, I think one of the coolest things that I would never have thought at whenever I got the last tour, we got to go down kind of where the players come down from the dugout whenever they need to go back and hit and stuff like that. But putting padding on the walls, put actual foam padding on the walls, because players walk down to the tunnel and start beating the hell out of stuff. Yeah. That's very smart. Never would have thought it.
Yeah.
Never.
Probably my earliest ever experiencing of that, 1985 World Series, Game 7, where the game before the Cardinals did legitimately kind of get screwed. Bad call at first base.
I wasn't alive, so I can't.
It goes back to Kansas City, and John Tudor is pitching for the Cardinals. He was their ace, and the Royals just came out and shelled him. And they pulled him, I think, in the 3rd inning, and he comes into the dugout and just punches a fan
Yeah.
not a person fan of
Right, like
that's blowing air. But I mean, just smashed his hand all up, and I think it screwed up the rest of his career.
oh wow.
But I mean, he sat there the rest of the game with a bloody towel wrapped around his hand, and and then.
But like things like that, you never would have thought. I never would have thought of. There, like everything with this stadium that I could see is thought in, like you said, designed.
Baseball's an old game. You're working off a lot of experiences.
Yeah.
But it's designed. I mean, day by day, built. What is it? What did you say? What did you call it? Designed.
Well,
by,
it's a design build project.
Design build project. That's
so
what it
you
is.
literally have the architectures, the designers building it, or they're literally designing it up. Once they design it up, whip it up on their AutoCAD or whatever, they give it to the construction crew and they build it right there and then.
Right. And it's nuts.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. The other thing that I liked was the behind center field, the big wall behind center field. How much space?
Batter's eye?
Yeah, well, you got obviously the batter's eye, but I'm talking about
Obviously.
like on the other side of where the fans are going to be walking around the outfield. Outfield, how much room that's out there?
Yeah, and I think
incredible.
the thing is too so we're gonna have a kid zone.
Yeah.
So over there they're gonna actually have like a basketball court, kind of all those things. But if you need to move that, you can actually put a stage out there. So say you're doing Riverfest and you don't want the whole stadium accessible, you can still have the musical stage with all the power outlets over there. Because remember, year 2 and 3, you're going to have businesses across the street.
Right.
That whole area should be able to be shut down so people can walk. It's almost like a carnival type deal.
It reminded me just
Gonna have
seeing
games and stuff.
What's that?
Gonna have overpriced games.
Yeah. We're going to have basketball hoops that are a little bit smaller, and then
smaller than the
basketballs
ball
that are
itself.
bigger. Yeah.
Or trampolines in the ground.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That game with the automatic BB gun that don't give you near enough to shoot that star out.
Yeah.
No, but I'm so impressed. It reminds me a lot of of the plans that I've seen. It reminds me a lot of Ballpark Village in St. Louis.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot because in left field
There
you
we
just walk
go,
across the street.
St.
Well,
Louis.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm just telling you how I see it, bro.
No, I'm that is one huge criticism. If I had one of Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, it is not accessible by walking. You have to drive out to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you are surrounded by just open air.
Yeah, and it's awesome that it's downtown where it is.
You couldn't even walk to the highway,
Right.
from the parking lot. You'd have to drive.
Yeah.
But that's like an old concept, right? I mean, when Kauffman was built, that's what they did with the ballparks, right? They weren't in the city, but now
Right.
that you have this, move to put these things
Yeah.
into the city, I think even Kansas City they're even thinking about it, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, but God, that stadium, they just did that major remodel of it.
sure.
2 years ago.
No, 10.
Was it that long ago?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the last time I was.
2006?
Maybe that was just the last time I was there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I think Texas was only 25 years, and now they have a brand.
Then they have a
one.
brand
yes,
new one.
and that was a gorgeous stadium.
That
they left.
Yeah.
And what's screwed up is now the XFL has gone and filed bankruptcy because of the virus.
Yeah.
I told you. I called it.
You called it. Damn it. But
By the way, is Jorge Covid, is he number 19 on the team?
yeah.
Shortstop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Boy, how unfortunate is that?
Is that a real person?
No, Scotty. What are
Anyways,
the odds that would happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure after this year, a lot of kids that are being born, you never know. They may name their kid COVID.
Well, that's the last name, though.
They have a sick and twisted, mind humor like I've got and Derek has.
I might
Chaos.
buy a
Love it.
COVID-19 jersey.
There you go.
Like I'm rooting for it.
But the other thing that I was really excited about was the bar out in left field.
Yeah. So there's gonna be a
Scotty's
craft.
got a problem.
Yeah.
Anytime a new bar goes up, Scotty gets
Scotty
real
knows about it.
Well,
exciting.
I was telling him because it's going to be a craft brew bar, right? So local craft brews
Okay.
will be served out there. It's right under the scoreboard. You have the berm area. I mean, that's the perfect spot if you got a family of 4. Dad's going to have a couple beers or mom, whatever, but they're going to go out there. You're going to buy the berm ticket for $10 for adults. Kids are going to have $8 ticket. They're going to roll down the berm the entire time while you just sip on craft brew and hang out.
Sucks so bad. Last week we had some perfect weather.
Perfect
yeah.
weather.
For baseball. I mean, it
Perfect.
wasn't hot. It wasn't cold. There was no wind. Oh, That would have been such a good day to be at the ballpark.
Yeah, it would have been perfect.
I mean, today was great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's the cards that we're drawn at this time, you know.
Right. Yeah, there's no good in complaining about it.
Yeah.
It's not going to change nothing.
I'll say this, which I, don't say publicly, enough. But, when I was telling you guys a long, long time ago, it's not about what team you're with. It's about what ownership group you're with.
Yeah.
I mean, ownership through and through this entire process. We have not laid off one person.
Right.
He refuses to, because of everything that we've worked on. And I'm extremely fortunate because I know a lot of teams are struggling and they've had, I know guys on other teams and they've had to take pay cuts and stuff. And we've been very fortunate at this time with this leadership to hold on to it because I know he wants everyone to finish this experience and get to go through that process. So I can't say it enough. I mean, sometimes you'll luck out, and I know I've lucked out being part of this process so far.
I just saw yesterday KU announced that their entire coaching staff has taken a 10% pay cut, which, for Les Miles and Bill Self, that doesn't mean a whole lot. Yeah. But, for your volleyball coach and your cross-country coach and those guys, that's a good-sized hit.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
That's substantial.
Yeah.
And that's good. I mean, the cool thing is okay, what I see is that even though you guys don't have a sport to present, you don't have a game that you're playing right now, you're still openly active with the community on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of I saw it when it happened, whenever baseball all of a sudden came closed. It was like somebody in charge of marketing just went, okay, well, if we can't do this, then we have to spend our time trying to be a part of this community. We're brand new, so let's involve ourselves in whatever way we can, coloring book pages and stuff like that on Facebook, just anything that you can. The T-shirts that are going to a good cause. I mean, that, I think, just solidifies what you talked about before the logo reveal. Yeah. Whenever you were last on the show, it's not necessarily what the team is, what the jersey is, what the logo looks like, or anything like that. It's the actual company and what that represents. And I think you guys are doing a freaking awesome job.
No, I mean, we appreciate it. I mean, at the end of the day, people, how they consume brands, and everyone has a brand. We have our brand, whatever that is, right? They don't consume brands by logos. They consume brands by how the company makes them feel. Right. And, we said this a long time ago. Lou was the first one to say it when he was here. We're going to give more than what we take. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important because if you don't have the community buy-in, as we all know with when we revealed the name and all those types of things, like if you don't have the community on your side and they don't see that you're doing positive things for them, then why would they come support you, right? I mean, why do you pick something over something else? It's usually quality and customer service. Those are usually the two things. It has nothing to do with the name. But then if it has something to do with the name, it's not because of the name. It's because you remembered what they did to you or what they're doing that you don't believe in. Sure. And that's what we want. When you think Wind Surge, we don't want you to think, our colors or our jerseys or, we want you to know beautiful ballpark, but we want you to know, hey, we are there for you. Yeah. And so I think that was important.
Yeah, I completely agree.
That kind of leads, that's actually a very perfect lead into the documentary that I was going to talk about. It's called The Battered Bastards of Baseball.
Okay. You nailed it. Yeah. For what it's worth, I started watching it and then stopped. I don't know what happened, but I must have got sidetracked or something. So all of this is all new information to me. Okay. Go.
Well, I mean, and I want you to watch it for yourself. I will. But even if I hit all the main points of it, you still want to watch it because it's such a great story. But basically, in the early 70s, Portland had a AAA team called the Beavers in the Pacific Coast League. Yep. Are they still?
No, part of it? There's no more Portland. Okay. Eugene, Oregon is a single short season team. That's the closest to there.
Anyways, these guys left and went to Spokane, Washington. And so there was this decent stadium there, but they had no team. So an actor named Bing Russell, who was most known at that time for his role on Bonanza. He was a regular on that show Bonanza. Who's also the father of Kurt Russell.
Okay.
Actor Kurt Russell, who himself was a very good baseball player. Yeah. But this Bing Russell, he had a lot of money. He was a huge baseball, not just a fan, but a student of it. He used to make these instructional videos for kids, which I don't know how they got them because people didn't have VCRs and stuff then, but usually starring Kurt as, kind of the training dummy or whatever. Nice. But for $500, he bought a franchise, a single A team in the Northwest League that was unaffiliated.
Okay.
All the rest of the teams in their league were affiliated with major league teams. So he made a completely independent single A team competing with them. And so because he didn't have a big club to provide the roster, he had to have open tryouts. And
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he was hoping that he would get enough people to fill the team. 300 people showed up. He put ads in papers across the country, and it was all comprised of guys who had played professionally before or played in college and never got noticed by scouts or whatever. But every one of them, not one of them was trying to move up to the next level because there was no next level. They were all just there because they loved to play baseball. And not only were they competitive, but they kicked the crap out of everybody. Their very first game was a no-hitter.
That is such a good story.
Yeah.
It gets so much better. But the major leagues hated them.
I'm sure they did.
Because they were just disrupting. So they would never let them win a pennant. They would send guys down from AA and AAA.
To beat them?
So they couldn't win a pennant.
What a bunch of jackasses.
But for 5 years, they did. But they were, he kept this huge roster because there was no, 30 guys on the roster.
Yeah.
And the guys who weren't playing would go up into the stands and sit with the fans and play catch with kids and sign autographs.
That is cool.
And they have a 33 game or a 66 game season, 33 home games. And in 33 home games in 1975, their paid attendance was 127,000.
Whew.
Over 5,000 people per game. A single A.
Yeah. That's
single A
awesome.
Team. Yeah. But the community just embraced them. And I mean, it goes on to get even cooler than that. But you gotta see it. It's, if you haven't seen it, it's the best story about baseball you've never heard about.
Oh,
They represented everything that is good about baseball.
Mm-hmm. And the
in
Astros.
minor league baseball, right? All the promotions they're allowed to do.
Yeah.
They didn't have this. They didn't have that.
Yeah, and they just and this Bing Russell, he didn't care as far as you guys want to get crazy and nuts, do it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
They didn't even have signals. It was like if you feel like stealing, steal.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And it was just,
Can you imagine though? Imagine being a guy that got turned down for, didn't get into the draft.
Yeah.
Was an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
He's just looking for an opportunity, and he goes out for this tryout, and he doesn't have this huge head and all of this. My friends and I like to call him the donut with sprinkles on it, whatever you call that, because that's the flashy
sprinkles on it.
Yeah.
No, it's the flashy guy, the guy that always has the bling,
Yeah.
But
they had one guy.
He's more of a head case than he is an actual, good player. He's got baggage that comes with him, as opposed to this guy is just trying to play baseball professionally.
What was that one guy's name that played in the MLB, and every time we'd pitch, his hat would fall off?
I cannot think of his name right now, but
he was a household pitcher.
He was a World Series hero. Played for the Yankees, God. He got notoriety. He written this book, and it was before all the other scandal books came out. This was like the first one that talked about the alcohol and drug use and
I'm sure.
Cheating on wives and stuff like that. And he was kind of blackballed from major leagues. He was still good enough to be, but none of the affiliated teams would pick him up.
Oh man.
But he was 38 years old also.
Wow.
And one of the bat boy was a guy named Todd Field, who went on to be he's a filmmaker and a director and actor, and I don't remember. It was like 2006 or something. He had a movie called In the Bedroom that was nominated for Best Picture Academy Award.
Really?
Yeah, and it was the manager's idea. One of the cool things about it is this was the manager's idea, but Todd Field had bought this make your own bubble gum kit at home, and the manager had this idea: we should take that and put it in chewing tobacco pouches. And they invented Big League Chew.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know if they made any money with that or if they sold the idea off too early, but yeah, it was like one of Forbes' top rising products of the year. Yeah. It was huge.
If you played youth baseball, you had Big League Chew.
Of course. Oh, yeah. That just shows you that and candy cigarettes that you know just how misguided they did. Yeah. But you know, I realized that I've ruined some of the surprises of it, but
that's okay.
I mean, there's
so much more though.
There's so much more, and it's what, an hour and a half probably.
Yeah, that's what it looked.
But it seriously is. I mean, it's kind of one of those where you smile from start to finish.
Okay,
everything about it is so feel good.
I don't remember what happened. I was like 3 minutes into it, and I something must have happened, so I turned it off, and then I just forgot about it and didn't start watching again.
I'm gonna guess you couldn't follow. Weren't smart enough to.
There is a very good possibility that is what happened.
Minor league baseball. What is this? What is this? No, thank you. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I wanted
back to cartoons.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is like, okay, we kind of touched on, okay, maybe this whole season may start in July. That's kind of where a majority of the plans that I've seen is that Major League Baseball will not have an All-Star game. They'll start in July, and they'll try to work in, you know, instead of having the All-Star game, I think it was in LA if I remember right. They're gonna have the World Series there if I remember correctly. I think that's where the All-Star game was. Scheduled.
Yeah, I've heard. I don't know exactly where it is because I don't keep in touch with the Major League. That stuff. I've heard shortened season when they get into the playoffs. I'm sure you'll elaborate a little bit more. Is they're gonna do it in neutral. Yeah, warm weather sites, right? Because if you're trying to play in New York or Boston or somewhere that's cold in November,
Minnesota would suck.
Yeah, exactly. That's even colder.
Yeah, don't they have a dome?
No, not Target Field. It's outdoor.
Yeah, they used to play in the Metrodome.
That Metrodome is what I was thinking.
It collapsed under the snow, didn't it?
Yes, it did during the football season when the Vikings were playing or scheduled to play.
Boy, that was just a wicked sound.
It was.
When that roof came collapsing down. And that can't be the first time it snowed heavy in Minnesota.
No.
How did that not hold up?
I think that stadium was on its last leg. I had the opportunity to actually play.
It was so state-of-the-art when they opened it.
Oh, yeah.
The ceiling opened up it was held up by fans, big blasts of air, basically. It was
pretty
a tent.
Much, yeah. Yeah, it was like a tent. But the other thing that they just came out that I saw this afternoon was the possibilities of an expanded playoffs, which they call a mega tournament. Because if you're a baseball fan, there's a reason why there's so many games in a season.
Sure.
It's long, but there's a reason why it's long. Now that the season will most likely be compacted, then they don't have a very good way of trying to determine which teams get to go to the playoffs. So naturally, you're going to have to find a way to beat that, and that's going to have to be more teams get into the playoffs because you just sort out the really crappy ones and then the decent ones get in.
Except even the really crappy teams go on hot streaks.
They sure do.
Yeah. So and, we've talked about that on this show that there's a reason why the season needs to be 162 games. Yeah. Because the riffraff will wear itself out. I mean, the fat will get trimmed.
That's true.
But it really does take that long sometimes.
Right, and then at the end of the season, and you made the playoffs, everybody in the entire playoff tree is 0-0 at the start of that thing. The Washington Nationals were not a favor to win the World Series last year.
No, they were
by any means. They were a wild card team.
Yeah. They looked like they were going to lose that wild card game.
They did. Yeah. And then somehow they pulled it out of their ass.
They were very much like the Royals in 14.
14, yeah.
And so you go on streaks, right? I mean, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
You want to hope that that's the case. I mean, say they play 80 games in a regular season, that's still only half the season. So when you do this extended format with a rush spring training.
Right. That's the other question I was getting ready to ask you. So Now, I know that the Wichita Wind Surge have nothing to do with the players that come through the system.
Yes.
That I completely understand that. But in your experience that you've seen, Jeremy made an extremely good point.
Damn right he did. He made the best point.
Does he get paid every time?
Every time he gets a quarter.
Yeah.
But he made a good point. Now you have these guys that are in quarantine, that are at home, that aren't doing anything. I'm sure some of them have workout stations. Some of them have, better facilities that they can use. But you also have these guys that, let's just use a pitcher as an example. Like, let's say Bartolo Colon was still playing baseball, and he doesn't have a workout facility. That dude's going to come in. If you think he's overweight now, holy crap when he comes in for spring training.
Sure.
What is the time do you think a player would need to go from kind of in shape to baseball ready, game ready shape?
I don't know. I've heard a bunch of things. I think really they need 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
To kind of get rolling again. Because you got to give them a week to travel to get to where they're going to be. You can't say everyone needs to be here on this day. It's not happening. They're all coming from different countries. And then you got to... The regular day-to-day position player, might not take as long.
Pitchers.
But the pitchers are because they go deep into the seasons, right? I mean, and let's be perfectly honest, man, with the way that there's Tommy John surgery and there's all these things, if they don't have that time frame to kind of really get it going so they can start, doing that process, I would say it has to be.
You're exactly right. Don't you remember? I think it was this last season when a pitcher had a no going through 7 and he got pulled.
It was for the Orioles. And he was at 85 pitches. It was the most ridiculous, idiotic thing. And that wasn't even. They were up 6-0 or 6-1 or something. Yeah. It wasn't even like a close save situation, and it wasn't deep enough into the season to where we need this win.
Right. It was at the beginning of the season.
Yes, and but I've heard pitching coaches talk about, like, if they have to take a reliever. If they have a starter that gets injured and they got to take somebody out of the bullpen and make him a starter, that takes time, a couple of weeks to build they'll put them on like a 60-pitch limit or a 5-inning limit or whatever. And that just to condition your arm to be able to pitch that many innings in a row, where those guys are used to pitching, 20 pitches a night and they'll do it 3 to 4 times a week.
Right.
But to throw 100 pitches or more, once a week is just a whole different thing.
I mean, just to give you an example of how much they check it, when I was in Modesto and we had some good Rockies prospects come through, they shut them down after 5 innings. It didn't matter what they were throwing.
I believe it.
Like, they were done. They were that's how important, that kind of stuff is. And look, don't quote me on it. I don't know what it takes, but I just know there's a reason why you have spring training.
Right.
And because they did it in March doesn't mean they're going to be ready to go in mid-May.
Right.
The same way.
Right.
Unfortunately, whatever happened there is it's gains they lost during this time, and there's nothing that replicates it. Even if someone has a home gym and they work this out and they do that, they're not in that environment.
Yeah.
And that's part of that process too. So that takes a little while to get going. And
and they should be working at home. And I know a whole series of instructional videos by Bing Russell.
Yes.
Absolutely.
If those shortstops don't know how to really field a grounder, they got to get that crossover step, then 3 shuffles.
There you go.
And no, they. Plus they're trying to figure out what's the standard roster size now. 27?
It was 26 this year. Because they added a guy. It used to be 25. Okay. And they were adding a guy into the season anyways.
So a lot of times managers are still trying to figure out who's number 24 and 25 going to be. Yeah. And they haven't gotten the chance to do that yet.
Yeah. And depending on what the season looks like, that roster might even increase.
Yeah. Well, don't they go to 40 in September?
They do. But just to get started, depending on what happens, you just don't know that it could increase just based on the amount of games and the availability that they have.
Right. Because anymore, I mean, they're going to get games off with whatever they decide to do. But, God, I don't think it's going to be very many.
Yeah, and just remember that Major League is going to play the most amount of games. Minor League will be a little bit less. So to have those extra roster spots, it gives some of those prospects more opportunity to play games, and that's just really what it is, right? That's what.
Yeah, we're looking at this the glass half full kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, okay. Well, keep your mind on this whole pitching thing because we're gonna get back to it in a second. But I wanted to talk about one more thing before we get to our own.
I've already forgotten what a pitcher is.
Okay, good. I wanted to get to this thing I found out today. All of you guys, I don't know if the fans do, but know who Madison Bumgarner is.
Yes.
He is now.
I know who
Mad
Madison
Mad bum.
Bumgarner
Mad
is.
He's a mad bum.
Mad
Huh?
bum.
I know who Madison Bumgarner is. I don't know.
Did I put a D in it?
Yes, you did.
I'm so sorry.
You Harold Reigns.
Madison Bumgarner is now he's a pitcher that just recently signed with the Arizona D-backs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he was the World
That
Series.
is so close to D-bags.
I know, that's why I said it.
Why did they do that? Why did they do that?
I don't
They had
know.
to know.
Well, of course they had to know, but some idiot decided it was a good idea. Anyways, Madison Bumgarner is now playing for the Arizona Diamondbacks. There's a hidden story that I found that he has actually been doing for the last 5 years. He has actually been doing competitive rodeos for the last 5 years and actually going by the name Mason Saunders.
Mm-hmm.
His wife will actually call him Mason Saunders in public to keep it, nonchalant. But the fact is that Madison, you can't really pick him out of a lineup. He looks like a normal dude. Right?
Well, if he walked in this room, we'd know which one's him.
We would know who he is.
6'5".
But if you get him around a whole bunch of like cowboys and stuff like that, no.
I mean, those are two different demographics.
Those are totally
for the most
different
part.
demographics.
Yeah.
But nobody knew. Even the
Yeah.
Arizona Diamondbacks had no idea he's been doing this for 5 freaking years.
Well, I think the Giants before that.
Giants, I don't think knew, but when
Yeah.
they found out, maybe that's why they traded him. I don't know.
That's really irresponsible of him. I mean, that's a big part of his contract. is
Yeah.
that he won't partake in, dangerous activities outside of baseball.
Yeah, and I mean, he got hurt in a BMX race
Yeah.
as well while he
was
was
he
in
riding
San
a bull?
Francisco.
And I think that
No,
was
BMX.
where that's where the
Right.
flags got raised.
Yeah, that's where it was like,
Yeah.
what the hell are you doing off of the field in your free time?
That
dude?
would explain why it happened if he was riding a bull in the BMX.
yeah, yeah,
Because
exactly.
you didn't mention anything about BMX before.
No,
you
he
just said
did-
rodeo.
rodeo mainly, and I don't know what events he was doing. I know he wasn't doing bull riding or bronc riding or anything like that. I think what he was probably doing was bulldogging, which is not any
A
better.
calf will kick the crap out of you.
It's
if you let
totally
it.
true.
I was raised around farms. It sucks.
It sucks. It doesn't matter how big that freaking bull or calf is. It's gonna hurt.
Yes. And steer wrestling, you take them down by the horns.
Yeah.
They have horns.
Yes.
Those will gore you if you let them.
It's physical.
I
and
can totally see him doing it though.
oh, I totally can see him
I can
doing
totally
it.
see him just breaking the rules.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
Have you ever seen him like you seen like where him and Puig have like the deal that they do, right? Where they've gotten that like so obviously being in California you get that Dodger Giants
Giant
rivalry.
stuff, yeah.
And I've seen the films, right? And he'll walk the dude and he thinks it's showing up if there's any kind of flair.
Yeah.
Especially if it's Puig.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
I know people are mad at Puig, but I'm just like, he didn't do anything. He literally walked the guy.
Yeah.
And he walked down or whatever. I don't remember what it was. And Bumgarner said something to him. He's not going to say something back. He's got flair. What do you think? So he thinks that you're not allowed to say anything. It's kind of that mentality.
Right.
Now, he had those 3 years when he was in San Francisco where he was pretty much on top, unstoppable. Sorry, Jeremy, in Game 7.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
in postseason, he was unhittable.
Yeah.
He
But
was absolutely unhittable.
But he, at the same time, just because he had that run, he didn't think that people were gonna show him up, and he's that guy,
Yeah.
right? Like if someone shows him up, he's saying something. He can't just let it go. Someone hits a 500-foot bomb off me, I'm tipping my cap to him. I
Right.
don't really care if I hate him or not. That's
Right.
a feat, and
I really kind of hope the league says something to him because I would love to see him being Rob Manfred.
I agree. I just thought that was extremely interesting. I did not know about that until it kind of leaked out a little bit. And again, the sports news kind of lacking
Pardon
there.
me here.
That's
Making
okay.
noise.
Get yourself another one.
I will.
Okay, but normally on this show, what we've been doing the last couple of weeks is we've actually been doing a draft.
okay.
So basically, the way it works.
I got bottled beer this time, not draft.
Okay, good for you. But basically, the way this works is we pick a top 5 of a particular category, and I make a post, put it on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever.
I noticed you didn't this last one.
Yeah.
with the basketball one, where
I,
my team would have kicked the crap out of all you guys.
I'll see if I can still do it. I'll be honest with you. I got really busy. And so
You just said you were bored and you were at home and you couldn't
said
even mow your lawn.
No, I was trying to fix my lawnmower.
That takes
Does
all
it have
day.
gas in it?
Huh?
Did it have gas in it?
Yes, it did.
Well, then
Yes, it did.
I'm fresh out ideas.
No, I can tell you what's wrong with it. Something with the carburetor. And I took the carburetor apart, and I can't
Hey,
figure
you
out.
just
what's
gotta
wrong.
spray some WD-40 in that bad boy once in a while.
You need carb cleaner, and I have carb cleaner, but even that didn't take care of it. I got to actually take it apart, so I
Flush
got
it out.
to.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
I got
Have
a lot of
fun
work.
with that.
Yeah, I've done it before.
At least
It
there's
sucks.
no small parts in there.
Oh no, exactly, and it's a Honda, so you know it's all American. Good stuff.
Right.
But anyway, so moving on to the draft. So what we're gonna do this week, since we have Bob here, we're gonna do a baseball draft.
Okay.
Okay.
That ain't Derek, is it?
No, it's not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just now noticed.
He has the same jersey.
He does have the same
Hey,
jersey.
Derek, I know you have the same jersey because I was in the store when you were there. Remember, you saw me.
He's not really that much of a
I
ghost.
feel like a real horse's ass now. Oh.
But anyways,
So, Bob, what's going on with the team? I haven't been listening because normally I don't listen to Derek. I've been listening to you. Oh, boy.
So-
Okay.
Man, you really got some automatic mechanisms to listen to. You know, we were both going back and forth on the Battered Bastards of Baseball.
you imagine whenever I talk to him about
Yeah.
something.
I just assumed Derek had seen it. And so,
You're
yeah.
basically telling me that you did to me what I do to my fiance all the time.
I did to you what you did to Derek, which is disregard.
Oh God, it's a good thing she doesn't listen to this show.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the rules of the draft. This week the draft is going to be your pitching staff. So you get 5 pitchers.
Okay.
I strongly suggest, obviously, to get starting pitching, but I believe you should have one reliever.
Okay.
So you have to have a reliever. Now, all of the pitchers are available from the beginning of time to the most recent.
Okay.
But the stipulation is every single one of those pitchers are when they are in their prime.
Okay.
Okay? So if you pick Bartolo Colon, it's not the overweight Bartolo Colon. It's whenever he was,
You got to sing with Bartolo Colon today.
he's he's my favorite underrated fat pitcher of all time.
Yeah.
Sexy. Big sexy, baby. But so pick your top 5. Can't duplicate, and then I will make a post. We'll put them on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll figure out whose list wins.
Okay.
Okay? Because Bob is the guest, Bob gets first pick, and because I didn't put the post up last week for the basketball teams because I hated my team when it all comes down to it,
Right.
Jeremy, you go second.
You want me to go second?
Yeah,
Because
you
you
get-
can have it because I had first last time.
No, it's okay.
You just want the 2 picks in a row.
I do want the 2 picks in a row, but
Oh, the snake draft.
it is a snake draft.
is.
So
Gotcha.
Bob,
It's a
that's
D-bag.
it. That's
D-bag draft.
It's a D-bag draft.
Can we do
Okay.
trades? Can we do trades on the
Trades
Afterwards,
at,
yeah.
after the end.
You got
We
to.
might be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So with the first pick, Bob, who do you got, buddy?
No question, Pedro Martinez.
Okay, that's a good pick. You're a piece of shit. For what it's worth, in 2000, Pedro Martinez had the lowest batting average of any other pitcher of all time against. So batters on average for that year were batting 167.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then he had an ERA of 2 points lower
Yeah.
than every other pitcher
Yeah,
the same year.
that's a stud. That's a stud.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I should win this thing just by the way, just Cy Young.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and I was going to get into this a little bit later, but we may not have time.
It's them against the players of their time.
I was getting ready to say. Because Cy Young probably only threw the ball like 68 miles an hour.
No.
Seriously.
212 miles an hour he's clocked at.
All right. That's fair.
He's got the all-time record for most wins that will never even be approached.
It won't even be close. Well, back in those days, pitchers threw...
3-day rotation.
Yeah.
And they never took him out.
No.
Remember, the mound was higher, too.
The mound was higher.
Ball
It was
was-
closer.
And the ball wasn't as tight.
No, it was...
The mound was 17 feet,
What?
right?
Well, the circle?
No, high.
Oh, that I don't know. Yeah, Jeremy, of course. It was 17 feet high.
All right, let me mark Cy Young off my list.
Yeah, you got to do that. And I am out of the gate. I am so glad because I got my number 1.
All right.
I get Mariano Rivera. That is my number 1.
Good.
Do you get him against the Red Sox in
or the Diamondbacks. That one too.
2001.
For what it's worth, there have been more people that have landed on the moon than people have scored on Mariano Rivera in the postseason. By the way.
But when he blew it, it was glorious.
It was a huge underdog story. So my next pick, I am gonna take Greg Maddux. Son of a bitch. Yes, I am. That's a shout out to Mr. Derek right there. He loves Greg Maddux because he was a Cub. Greg Maddux, one of the only people ever to have 15 or more wins in 17 straight seasons, and he is 10th overall in strikeouts.
Yeah,
barely touched 96.
Good for him. We're just giving names.
Just saying. I've got facts for some of these guys.
All right, Sandy Koufax.
Yep, I knew that one was coming. He was up there. Sandy Koufax for Jeremy. All right. What you got there, Mr. Bob?
I'm going to go with my fellow Bob Feller.
Bob Feller. All right. We've got young listeners here. I'm trying to pick some
Just
guys.
remember, if you guys watch baseball documentaries, you've ever seen Fastball?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bob Feller's on that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know exactly who he is.
I mean,
but you get two because you go back. You go back to back.
If you want to give it for the young listeners, you should have said best pitchers of the '90s.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but you went of all time.
I went of all time. I did say of all time.
Yeah.
Gotta pick your strategy.
So screw the listeners is what I'm saying.
I got a long list, but one guy that's I've looked at. You got to put Roger Clemens in there.
You do.
He had 2 careers.
Yeah, you do. You have to. 7 Cy Youngs. Roger Clemens. Mm-hmm. I had him on my list. All right, Mr. Jeremy. What you got, buddy?
I got so many here to choose from.
Don't screw it up. Is it going to come back around is your question.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it.
I know you so well.
Bob Gibson.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's not you. All right. I'm so excited right now.
Mm-hmm. You just can't hide it?
Nope. Just can't hide it. I sing it like that, too, in the shower. Yeah, for sure.
I could see you doing the flash dance.
Oh, totally. I'm going to go with Randy Johnson.
Damn it.
Yep, that's the one. I figured you would take him by that point. For what it's worth, Randy Johnson's the only pitcher ever in the history of baseball to throw a fastball and explode a freaking bird.
Yeah.
Did you hear how I just said Bob Gibson and we moved on?
What?
You keep giving these damn factoids about players that chances are our listeners don't even know who they are.
Dude, Bob Gibson, look at that. I've got a signed baseball.
You know who he is.
I know exactly who he is.
Anything. But he had the lowest ERA of any season ever. I believe 1.2.
1.2, and I think his they've done the stats now. His WAR, so wins above replacement, is one of the highest too. Yeah. It's like 80, 81 or 89.1 something.
And as I've said many times, WAR. What is it good
for? Good job, attaboy.
Good God, y'all.
Good God, y'all. Let's see if I'm gonna take some hard throwing guys. Then here comes the Express, Mr. Nolan Ryan. Got to take him, strikeout leader.
Here's the thing about Nolan Ryan, is that when he was on, there was nobody better, but when he was off, when he couldn't control that thing, he was real bad.
Yeah, people would tee off on.
Yeah, I mean,
most strikeouts of all time. I like that.
Okay, fair enough.
I can turn him into a closer if I wanted to.
I feel like this is cheating, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Babe Ruth.
Yeah, that's so cheating. That's so cheating.
Okay, you want me to go somebody else?
No.
No, if you want him.
No. Yeah, you get him. This is pitchers. He doesn't have to bat.
Well, is he in the National League? He never was.
No.
But in his prime, he got to bat.
All right. Bobby Mo.
So,
you got two.
Yeah,
these are your last two.
I was kind of thinking about this, though.
You know, when you said Canseco, he pitched once.
Yeah, he did. You said best pitchers, but I guess there has to be a certain kind of criteria of what you think's best, because I got to take Kurt Schilling because he wins. He wins World Series. He wins championships.
Yep.
Even with,
I had him on my list. I had him on my short list. I'm going to throw one heck of a pitch to you guys whenever I pick mine because I don't think you're going to get close.
And then my last one, I'm going old school, because he is in all the lists the number one, Christy Matherson.
Yeah, Matherson.
You didn't take a reliever.
You don't have to, right?
You don't have to. No, I just said I suggest it.
Oh.
I mean, to me, relievers, besides Mariano Rivera and maybe Dennis Eckersley.
John Rocker. Come on, guys. Yeah. John Rocker.
Those guys.
I always thought of him.
I'm totally kidding, Jeremy.
No, I mean, you know how he is about the subway.
You're lying.
He is eastbound and down. That's what that show is off of. I can think of a couple. I can think of Jason Isringhausen.
But their window is usually... I mean, Mariano's different. His window was so long. Yeah. But like every other one, Eckersley,
that was another sneaker.
That's who I was going to pick because I thought we had to pick.
Yeah. But here's the thing is, if your starters don't get you there, then it doesn't matter who your reliever is.
True.
Right? I mean...
Well, I don't think any of my guys were ever pulled from a game ever in history. I haven't picked a guy that went less than 10 innings a night.
You haven't picked a guy in the 70s yet, let alone the 80s, 90s, or current.
All right, well.
I've got a couple that you could go with. and
I've got a whole list here. I'm just trying to think of which one.
Yeah?
Tommy Glavine.
That was actually the one I was gonna suggest, but I didn't want to. I figured you would.
Yeah,
like that one.
I know the names of pitchers. I didn't need suggestions.
I figured out of the 3 Braves guys, he was the least out of the other 2. I thought Maddox would be.
You thought Smoltz was better than Glavine?
I mean,
Smoltz was good.
Smoltz was good, and he was a closer.
Yeah,
Smoltz, and he was good as a closer.
Yeah, but Glavine had more Cy Youngs.
True. But
did he have 2 or 3, Glavine?
2, I think.
2?
I'm pretty sure.
And Maddox had 3, right?
Maddox, yes.
With the Braves.
Right.
Did he get one with the Cubs?
I'm not 100% sure if he got one with the Cubs. Okay. He very well could have, but I can't remember. But I've got a lot of picks that I could have taken that I'm just going to go down.
Yeah, there's been a lot of pitchers through history.
Good ones that you could have taken. Aroldis Chapman. He's current. 106-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a brain in his head.
He's all right. Bartolo Colon, of course. Jacob deGrom was another one. Clayton Kershaw, he's current. And then you did say Dennis Eckersley was another good one. But I'm gonna throw a knuckleball in here. Tim Wakefield.
Interesting.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
If you have ever seen a knuckleball as a hitter,
yeah.
It'll freak you out.
That was when I thought we had to have a reliever, I put Hoyt Wilhelm.
Yeah.
He was one of the first.
I hate to say this, didn't Brett Boone see his knuckleball?
Probably, yeah, and took it into out of the stadium, if I remember right.
Well, and that's the problem with the knuckleball. If it's not dancing,
it's
a meatball.
If it's not dancing and it's up in the zone, it's out of the ball.
Oh, he's probably one of the best knuckleball pitchers there is.
Tim Wakefield, and there's one other guy, and he's more recent
David
than Tim.
Wells? Or not David
No,
Wells.
not David Wells.
Guy, for the Blue Jays.
Yes, that guy.
God damn it, why can't I think of his name?
RJ, wait.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's
Ricky?
Initials.
Dickey, RJ Dickey.
Yeah, RJ Dickey. That's who I'm thinking.
The Royals shelled him in the world or the ALCS.
But if that knuckleball is down, that is the most disgusting
I don't know why
pitch.
they pitched him a home game inside.
I don't
know.
So my thing is, and you mentioned those young guys, and I thought about like the Syndergaards, and the Groms and stuff, and like, yes, they're good. There's just again going back to a point we talked about basketball. They really haven't proven anything yet.
I agree with you.
And so that's why when I looked at the list of the guys that I had, like, you already know what they've done. Mm-hmm. And it's like Scherzer, right? Like Scherzer, I think, is amazing.
I would have actually, I thought about taking Scherzer.
And, he's still, he's still got a couple more years. And he kind of, because
He was on my list too.
Yeah.
Max Scherzer.
But he's someone I would consider over those younger guys until they're able to kind of, prove it. Now, listen, the way the game is played, the way the game is managed now is totally different, right? They have no control what the Mets do, which the Mets never do anything good as of late. But it's hard to say, like a Syndergaard or whatever fantasy, and I got 8 pitchers, I'm going to pick one of them up for sure. But you said all time.
All time.
I feel like if you were to see these 5 guys every day, you were going to have some trouble.
I'm scared of Pedro. That would have been that was my 1-2. I just didn't know if I would get him.
I have no doubt if you took Noah Syndergaard and put him back pitching against the batters that Cy Young was facing,
they couldn't touch him.
It wouldn't even. I mean, they would shit their pants.
Sure.
Yes,
it wouldn't even be close. But I debated over Tom Seaver.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or Jim Palmer.
Raleigh Fingers was another one that was up there.
He was on me. But there's just been so many.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get a touchstone as far as who is.
But that's the best part of the game.
Yeah.
I like the hitting.
Well, that too. What I mean is that this is the best part of the game.
This isn't even the game.
The fact that there's so many names in history that this game has been going on since before the 1900s, and that we have all of these famous players, and the game has evolved so much. The ball has changed. The way that they pitch from the mound has changed.
Yeah.
How far close to the pit or to the batter. I mean, it was actually a circle that you could move all over the circle and throw different angles at one point in time. That's how
there
crazy.
was a time when they had outs, but it wasn't even. Sometimes it was first to 21.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was everybody bats every inning. Mm-hmm. And then once you got through your lineup, then the inning was over. Until 1900, there was no official baseball rule book.
Yeah.
And with that, we've got 3 lists. We've got 3 lists that I'm gonna put up on Facebook.
Very well.
I will share that. And the rule is now.
I will trade you Babe Ruth for $125,000.
The rule is we can't use the like button. Okay.
Okay.
That's going to be the rule. That's actually a good test for me because I want to try to figure out the algorithm as well. So we will have our post, and it'll be either the love sign, the ha sign, or
I want the middle finger.
Sad. Do you want the middle finger? You want the angry one? Okay.
So
we'll get
who's
you that.
over under on the like button? Who's going to press it?
Oh, how many people are going to push the like button and not actually pay attention?
Most people.
I would say a majority. I would really say the majority.
Scotty has been a fan of giving himself
the like button,
and just dominating.
Yeah, I really have. I didn't think about it the first time. Then it kind of crossed my mind the second time. I was like, nah, surely
I shouldn't have 200.
I just have the best list.
For mine.
I just have the best list. That's the way it works.
Sure.
There you go.
But even if I would have put that for my NBA starting 5, no way in hell. Yeah. No way in hell. Yeah. I hated my team. Screw you, Litsky. Anyways, moving on. We actually get to do another segment with you for the very first time because I think we're loosening up a little bit. So we're going to do it. We just got to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, this is my favorite part of the show. It's my favorite part of the episode of the Laughing on the Sidelines podcast. This is what we like to call our shitty situation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is my favorite part of every episode. We like to call this our shitty situation. This is our rendition of a Would You Rather, where you have 2 really, really bad situations and you have to pick one of them to experience. And today's shitty situation is... Jeremy?
Well, I got 2.
Okay.
First one's just for Bob.
Okay.
Bob, given the current COVID-19 situation, would you rather have it continue on like it is and us not have a season at all? Or if you could magically turn off everything going on and get everything started right away, but you would have to return Derek's texts. Which would you rather have to do?
Wow, man, those are 2 shitty situations.
Yeah, they are.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Ooh, you know what? I think I'd rather have a season. So if I have to return his text, then I guess that's what I'd have to do. I'd have to sacrifice for the team.
Right. Absolutely.
And if that's a
Right,
sacrifice
okay.
I have to make. That's what I would do.
I'm guessing that's what the team wanted to hear. We know the real answer.
So if Derek texts you, it doesn't matter if you're Bob or anybody else. Just make sure you return those text messages.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you ruin baseball.
Actually, I'm just gonna set up a text bot.
That's what you.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do from now on.
That's so good.
I saw them do it on Silicon Valley, so I'm pretty sure I could.
You could totally do it. And the funniest part about this entire running joke is that only listeners really know it very well. I had a text message probably a couple of weeks ago from a consistent listener of the show that I don't really know very well. And he follows the Facebook page, but he sent me a direct message on my phone, and he goes, "Hey, did Bob ever respond to Derek's text?" And I go, "Yeah, he did." And it was just so hilarious because I'm just like, I don't know who the hell this guy is.
Well, let me
It's just such an intriguing story.
Let me just clarify
It just
something.
threw me off.
Let me just clarify something. Being in Derek's seat right now, he texts me, and I'm not. I thought I did a good job responding. Well, just remember, he was texting the wrong number for like 5 months, so that's not my fault.
True.
And number two, he'll, sometimes when I get texts, there's a timely thing, especially when we're leading up to, selling tickets on sale. So I'm pretty sure that I'm not responding
to anybody
2 minutes before tickets go on sale.
And the thing is, there's nobody who understands that better than Derek.
Unless if I text you, he responds
Right.
to me.
Just anything to hang shit on him.
I do. Sometimes I leave your texts out like a day.
You do.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
So
he's a little more important than
that's true.
in your eyes. Anyway.
So all right. So what's the shitty situation
Okay,
here,
the
Jeremy?
shitty situation for all of us is you're at the ballpark. You've paid a lot of money for lower bowl seats,
Right.
but they have put you behind an obstacle,
An obstructive view.
an obstructed view while your guy is pitching a no-hitter? Or would you rather have a perfectly clear view and in the bottom of the ninth with 2 out, 2 on, your team's down by 1, nature calls and it is not coming from the 1 hole. And you have to run to the toilet and miss a walk-off.
Oh God. How big is this obstruction?
We're talking
Standard support pole.
We're talking about Fenway Park.
Okay.
Structural beam right in front of your seat.
The obstruction is the size of Fenway Park.
It's a big trash can.
It sure is.
Okay. All right. What do you got, Bobby Mo?
Ooh, man, that one's tough. I think that I'd rather be in the ballpark regardless, like in the seating bowl, even
Sure.
if I had this big thing in front of me, because I can at least look around at all the excitement and give high fives to the people
Fair enough.
when it happens.
Okay. All right. That's true. Okay. I think I would also take that. I keep on thinking, like, if I'm moving around and I'm in the bottom of the bowl, though, I'm like blocking other people at the same time, so I'm probably getting yelled at.
Sure.
But I don't care. I'll probably figure out a way to, because I wouldn't live with myself. Still to this day, I can't live with myself for falling asleep during Game 6 of the World Series of the Cardinals and the Rangers. My wife still, she still gives me shit for that
Some
to this
Cardinals
day.
fan you are.
There's a quick way out,
Yeah.
Scotty. We've been
Yeah.
trying to encourage you to
Yeah,
take
I'm sure.
it.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I
You
missed it.
just won't. It seems like, yes, you can live with yourself. Damn it.
Anyways, I will take the obstruction as well.
Can I add something?
What's that?
to the mix? What if there's live television in the bathrooms at the time?
Not with the door
Not in the
closed,
stall.
bro.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
We're not talking,
there's a
we're not talking
stall.
about that hole.
This is the number 2 hitter.
I don't know if you got a ballpark that you're gonna start installing TVs in the stall doors. You let me know.
Dude, 10 years is going to be a thing.
Dude,
You're probably
I
right.
can get that view from home. Not from the bathroom, though, I guess.
Yeah. What do you got, Jeremy?
I'm also going to take the obstructed view.
Oh, yeah.
You know, walk-offs happen all the time. Perfect games are very rare. Once a season, you hear about a perfect game, maybe,
Right.
if that. How many times has that been done in history?
No-nos? Perfect games?
Perfect games.
Oh, God. I don't know. 20s?
I think that's too much.
It's under
Too many?
50. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I want to say it's in the 20s. I'll look it up. Here, you go. You can.
I think it's like 12 or something like that. It's not, I thought it's perfect game is low. No-nos might be a little bit high.
There's
No-nos
usually
are
3 or 4
higher.
of those a year.
Yeah.
But
perfect games.
perfect games are very
Nobody
rare.
on, no walks, no hits,
errors.
no errors.
27 up,
27
down.
up, 27 down. My phone is loading.
I
so
just
give me a
watched Brendan Fraser do that
Yeah.
last week on
And
the
then hit
Scout.
4 home runs.
He just won.
Just one.
It was a 2-run home run, and they won 2-0. But 27 up, 27 down on 81 pitches.
Yeah. That's
27 strikeouts.
yeah. I mean,
But also,
I was right. 23.
23.
23 perfect games.
But also, you know, getting to see that with an obstructed view while frustrating would mean I don't have diarrhea.
Yeah, exactly.
Diarrhea doesn't just happen. There's a reason for it. Usually that you're going to have to deal with other stuff later.
That's exactly right.
So, I'm going to go with the obstructed view.
And not only that, you are not only missing the walk-off, but probably a good 10 to 15 minutes after the walk-off just to clean yourself up.
Sure. And I have been present for a walk-off, and I don't know what was more frustrating, dealing with the massive stinky humanity around me, just all celebrating, or having to listen after the game and hear Salvador Perez give his interview.
Yeah.
All right, hit the ball, way to go. Go back. Thinking he's speaking perfect English. They use him as a translator sometimes. He can't speak English either.
Hey, he's an American citizen.
I love Salvador
Oh,
Perez.
God.
If you don't love Salvador Perez, there's something wrong
There's
with you.
something
but
seriously wrong
Get
with
him
you.
off the microphone.
Well, imagine if him and Pedro Martinez had their own talk show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I've heard you say that.
Yeah,
before.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I still say, just looking at him, Pedro Martinez may have eaten Manny Ramirez.
It's possible. He sure does look like it.
He didn't weigh but 160 pounds when he pitched.
Oh, my.
He's got to weigh 260 now.
How tall was Pedro? Do you remember?
I
Like
mean,
5'10".
yeah, he wasn't.
I
I
knew
mean,
he
he's a
wasn't.
little bit taller than. I think I'm 5'10", so he's a
I think
little
he's
bit
6
taller
foot,
than that.
I
I
bet.
think it was a little bit shorter than 6 foot.
Was he
actually.
really?
I think it might be 5'11". Literally the only way you could be, but
That dude is
I'm
amazing.
5'12".
Amazing.
But
But yeah,
before we go,
Yeah.
question that I meant to ask earlier:
yeah.
what are the cats' names?
Oh, we have Ellie. We
Ellie.
have Sage.
All right.
So sisters. So basically the deal was Stephanie wanted Ellie.
mm-hmm.
And then the adoption company said, well, we prefer that her sister goes with her because if she doesn't, she's going to get euthanized. And I was like, well, just get both of them. I mean,
Cats die
75
every
bucks.
day, dude.
Yeah.
I
Not when
prefer
it's in
that
your
they
hands.
shut up
Well, the funny
and
part,
give me the one cat.
the funny part is that Sage, she was born a couple weeks later than Ellie was, I believe, or she wasn't. She
That's
was
long
born,
labor.
Yeah,
That is.
I don't know what. Like I said, I'm not a cat person. So I don't know either. But Ellie has been, she's been domesticated a little bit. She's gone to the vet and everything,
Right.
and Sage hasn't. So we were a little concerned the first 24 hours about Sage because she was just hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sage, you can't get her to shut up or just chill out. She's like all over the place. So, I mean, they're two happy kittens, and
Well, that's awesome.
I have a happy fiance because there's two kittens in there.
There
So,
you
hey,
go.
that's all that you need, right?
That's
So,
right. Her time is occupied at this point.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
It's a funny thing when somebody gets a new pet. Like my neighbors, 2 houses down. I don't know, probably 6 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
came home with their brand new golden retriever puppy,
Oh, yeah.
and just so happy to do it. Now, if you were parents
Mm-hmm.
and you brought your newborn child home, but you knew in 12 years it would be dead,
God.
that would still be a sad day, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've purchased a tragedy.
Way to bring it down,
Yeah.
Jeremy. Oh, that's awful.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. Anyways, so hey guys, that's all I got. Since we don't have baseball, keep your eyes for drone racing, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, check that out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's about the only sport you can watch during quarantine is drone racing.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously,
Talked
check
about
that out.
having that at the ballpark.
Let me ask you.
Yeah, dude. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know. I won't fly. I just want to be there. I just want to be there for that.
Let me get your guys' opinion on this too.
What?
This is since we're running over time, but yet still shorter than what we have been lately.
Yeah, true.
You hear recently the Fox Sports Net has been running replays of the Royals 2014 run.
Yeah.
Starting with the wild card game, which even if you don't like either the Royals or the A's, if you just watch it as if you're a baseball fan, it was such a fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys had to make one suggestion to somebody of a sporting event,
What game to watch?
just one game that they could go back and YouTube or look up computer archives or whatever.
Yeah.
Any sporting event, and it can't be a team that you root for.
Oh, can't be a team that you root for?
Uh-uh.
Oh, that's rough.
Just as a fan of the game or whatever.
For me, it would definitely be baseball.
Okay.
Damn, man. I tell you what, I use this as an example all the time, and Derek's going to make fun of me for it for the rest of my life, but I would say the World Series run for the Cubs.
Yeah,
An event
But
or
just
one
The
game?
Game
One-
7.
one game.
Game 7.
Game 7?
Game
Okay.
7 of the World Series against the Cleveland Indians.
Okay.
I think
That was a fantastic game.
fantastic game, rain delay going into the 8th inning? 9th inning, I believe. And they had just got tied and then ended up hitting a home, basically won the game in Cleveland.
Well, you heard it here first. Scotty loves rain delays.
Hey, man. But as,
No,
as a Cardinal fan, I hate the Cubs. I
Sure.
hate the Cubs. I only hate the Cubs because of Derek. I like the Cubs other than that, but whenever Derek's here, I hate the Cubs. But that was an excellent World Series to watch live and be a part of.
Yeah.
So many emotional swings.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And I would have been happy for either team. If
I would
they-
have too.
Just because it would have been so long since either team.
I take that back. I was really pulling for the Cubs because I can't stand LeBron and LeBron James was there. So
Yeah, that's true.
I pulled for the Cubs for that one.
All right.
Anyway, how about you?
I'll give you two. I'll give you the 2012 San Francisco Giants run to the World Series
Okay.
because they were down 2-0 to Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hunter Pence gives them that speech.
Yeah.
Essentially, I think it was literally the game they had to win.
Right.
I think it was game 3. And I remember being at game 1 when Cueto got pulled out in the first inning, and you're like, oh, dude, Cueto's out. You're going to be fine. And they ended up losing the first 2. Then you see that run all the way to the end. Then, I was at the game where Pablo hit the 3 home runs. He hit 2 off Verlander, so that was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you take that run, and then I have to go back to them in 14 when they played that, I think it was, 18-inning game against the Nationals.
Oh, God.
Oh,
In D.C.
Yeah.
Again, that's another, and I remember, I'm trying to remember what his name was, but dude pitched like a 6 or 7 inning relief stint, which is very similar to what
That's a starter's.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, watch that because you said I couldn't talk about the teams I root for. When
You're a Bo Sox fan.
yeah. So, but I would say go through that run. I think they have like the documentary on ESPN or something like that, and they go through the process. There's one thing in the World Series I thought was interesting. This is gonna switch it up. Find a documentary on the 2012 umpires of the World Series because it gives you an interesting perspective on their take of it. And we always sit here and go, that was a ball, that was a strike. The one thing that amazed me about what these guys do is how almost all the time they call it right.
Oh,
from
yeah.
their first
Oh,
play.
yes.
So there's one play where I don't remember who hits it. It's Detroit. Hits it to left field. Relay comes in. Guy misses the relay, but then the second baseman's there, and Scudero.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up getting this overthrown ball, and it might have been Blanco who threw it in. Scudero throws it into home. It's a bang play. Not Cecil Fielder. Prince Fielder gets thrown out at the plate. Bang play. He looks safe.
Mm-hmm.
Leland comes out, talks to the umpire, blah, blah, blah. Dude, he wasn't, he was safe. Why'd you call him out or whatever? The next inning, Pfister gets hit in the head by the ball. Leland comes out, talks to the home plate ump, and goes, by the way, because he went and saw it on replay, he goes, that was a great call. Like, he literally tells him that.
I do remember that.
Yeah, it was like a bang play, and I'm just like, dude, how do you... I could not do that. That just shows you how good those guys are. And it's a different perspective, but I would say you can find that, watch it, because it was pretty awesome.
I believe you.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeremy? What's your one game?
Mine would be a boxing match.
Ooh, okay.
Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward.
What the hell?
Mickey Ward was the subject of that movie, The Fighter.
I know who Mickey Ward was.
He had a trilogy of fights with Arturo Gatti that is probably the most epic boxing matches ever. But that first fight that they had, I'm telling you, go watch it. It is the best boxing match you'll ever see. It goes the distance, all 10 rounds.
I can't believe Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson, the United States against Russia on ice, Miracle on Ice. You got this?
Yes.
Okay.
And round 9 of that fight is the best round of boxing you'll ever see.
Okay.
Arturo Gatti gets up from a liver shot, which was Mickey Ward's knockout punch.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, it's...
You sure this isn't Creed or...
I was getting ready to say, this sounds like a movie that somebody made.
Nope.
Hollywood's running out of idea, folks. We just got to keep on giving them.
It's like something out of a movie. It's a fight on that level.
I believe you.
But, dude, watch it.
All right. Fair enough. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. That's our show for today.
Uh-huh.
Do us a favor. You can follow us at Laughing on the Sidelines on Facebook and Instagram. We are also now on TikTok. Our more inappropriate shows and content is up there. Little snippets, less than a minute long. They are hilarious. But you can also find Wichita Wind Surge on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Yeah.
What's the tag for that? I can't remember.
It's Wind Surge at Wind Surge ICT.
ICT. Okay. Yeah. And be as positive. Do what you can to obviously flatten this thing. We obviously want to get baseball back as fast as we possibly can. The only way that we're going to do it, unfortunately, is to be as safe as possible. We take precautions whenever we do these shows.
Or text Derek.
Yeah, definitely text Derek. But every time we do this show, the whole thing is sanitized before and after. So we try to take be as careful as we possibly can. But with that being said, man, Bob, thanks for coming out again.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love it when you come on the show. I'm sure we're gonna do it again, over and over again, and we'll get another you and Jared show. I'm sure before after this thing is all over. But we really do appreciate it. So thank you so much. Good luck for the season. I know it's gonna come eventually, and we hope we do well.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys, that is our show. Thank you so very, very much. We like to tell you guys you are our advertisement. So if you could, if you like us, do us a favor, tell your friends and tell your family. But if you don't like us...
I hope you get guilted into adopting twice as many cats as you wanted.
Yeah.
If you don't like us...
Tell your enemies.
And until next time, guys...
Keep laughing, assholes.
See you later. Take care.